On this week's GTA 5 o'clock, we talk GTA 5 on PC, full hands-on impressions, and everything you need to know. It's all here on this week's very special GTA 5 o'clock. Hello and welcome to this special edition of GTA 5 o'clock. I'm James Jarvis and we have a huge hands-on preview with the PC version of GTA 5 coming up. Following on from our PC trailer analysis last week, which you can see on the channel now, I sat down with Dan and PC Gamer editor Sam to talk about everything the latest version of GTA 5 has to offer. So, without further ado, let's get straight on with the show. So yes, for this section of this week's GTA 5 o'clock, I am joined by not one, but two special guests. The first of which is Dan Dawkins. Some of you may remember him from previous shows.
Hello from history.
Hello, Dan. Thanks for coming along. You only come out for the big occasions nowadays.
Takes a big swathe of AAA to get me out of bed, and here I am.
And secondly, and maybe more importantly, is Sam Roberts, the editor of PC Gamer. Hello, Sam.
Hello from the future.
Hello. And you have been to see GTA 5 running on PC.
That's right, yeah. I mean, it's been a long time coming. It's, I think, 17 months now waiting for the port on PC, but it really does feel like it's worth it.
Excellent. So we are here. I'm going to talk to you all about it, what you played, what you saw. I guess the first most important question that everyone's going to want to know is, what was it running on, and are they going to be able to play it on their system?
I think that most people can play it on their system, but the way I saw it, it was running at 4K and had two graphics cards, two GTX 980s, and an i7 processor, which is outside the realms of like affordability for most people, I think. But they were just showing me what it can look like when you have everything turned up to max, and it was incredible. But the minimum specs are quite generous with GTA 5 on PC, so even if you've got like an average spec rig, then you can still play it at a fairly decent whack, I think. And obviously I haven't tested that yet, but I'm fairly certain that it will run well across different systems. They've really spent a lot of time building this port.
So here's the big question. How does it look? Like, obviously I was pretty blown away when we went to see the PS4 version last year. That felt like a big leap again from the PS3 version. Like, how big a leap is this from what we've seen on PS4?
It's funny because I actually watched the episode back that had your reaction, you guys' reactions to it, and you did sound like you'd seen God. And I had a very similar experience. Like, I've seen the game running on PS4 and it is really impressive, but when you see it running at 4K resolution, 60 frames per second, the difference between it and the original 360 PS3 version is just absurd. It's just like actual kind of jaw-dropping, and I was actually swearing at the monitor just seeing it. It was like a proper, I can't believe this looks this good moment. It's incredible. It's the best I've ever seen the game looking, for sure.
Can you pull out an example of like a particular thing that made you go, whoa?
Well, the draw distance now is even further than it was on PS4 and Xbox One. And so the demo started with Franklin at the top of Mount Chiliad, right next to that ramp with the broken ramp.
Oh, near the jetpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you are, Dan. Near the jetpack. That doesn't exist.
And so, basically from there, you could just see, obviously, the entirety of the landmass. And the draw distance is just insane. Like, it stretches so far off into the horizon, you can just pick out individual details from miles away. Like, it just looks like the game. It's like going from being short-sighted to having perfect vision. It just looks absolutely what I wanted GTA to look like. And I think it's going to impress a lot of people.
Now, the big leap for me from PS3 to PS4 was in things like the subtlety of the lighting, sort of the richness, the illumination of the cars, the neon. Like, what has PC done to those effects and those incidentals?
Well, now there's a lot of advanced graphics options in this version, and so those effects are obviously pushed even further on PC. You get the same sort of experience of seeing the lighting, like the city skyline of Los Santos, right? Having that kind of glow outline, and the kind of dynamic lighting, and then sunsets that don't look like filters, but look like actual sunsets. It's that sort of leap is in there, but I think it's seeing it at 60 frames per second as well, that it makes such a huge difference. If you saw it, you'd really struggle to go back. I think it just feels so much more real. It's unbelievable. So it's hard. It was hard to tell from my demo what the major differences were in terms of those effects. Those are all in there, but I think they're now just at their very best. Like driving down Vinewood Boulevard, it just looked in the rain with obviously the neon lights and everything. It just looked unbelievable. And seeing that in first person as well in 4K running at 60 frames per second, it's just just actually like a mind-blowing experience. So good. Like, I couldn't believe how good it looked.
I asked you this the other day, but I want to ask it again. Like, what games are better looking full stop on PC than GTA?
That's a really tough one to answer, because on one hand, obviously, you've got really high-end ports of different games that were released in recent history, like Alien Isolation and Shadow of Mordor undoubtedly look like incredible on PC. But I think it is hard to think of a game that is better looking than it. Like, on some level, like the PS4 version, you can tell it was built originally for last-gen hardware, but you see so much advanced details in terms of like facial animation and obviously, you know, draw distance, weather effects, that it is actually hard to think of an example that kind of blows it away. Like maybe the Metro games, actually, Metro Last Light, that probably does look better on PC running at full whack. But that's not to say that, you know, GTA is any slouch whatsoever. Like, it's remarkable. And if you play it on console and you don't have a PC, I think you'd see it and get a little bit jealous. Like if you saw the screenshots that were released last week, and yeah, the game has never looked that good on consoles, but that's the experience you can get on PC, and it's hard to fight the impression that is the definitive version.
Right. So when you were there, you say you got Franklin at the top of Mount Chiliad. What else did you actually get to play and see running while you were there?
Well, like when you guys saw it on PS4, they let me do anything. Basically, go to different parts of the map and just try things out. So, first of all, they got me to do the heist mission, the third one, I think it is, with the bank robbery and the stealing of the gold, from the underground vault. So I did that first because they wanted me to just kind of like, recall the essential GTA experience. Heists are obviously the best part of GTA 5. And it was great fun to play through that again. But then I just did all the things that I love doing in the console version, which is stealing aircraft and titting about. So I tried to steal an airplane from the airport and failed miserably. Didn't even get off the runway. Got shot and killed. That was embarrassing. Later on, I was in one of the military jets. It was the Mammoth Hydra, and I basically blew up the atomic blimp and then just flew around blowing shit up. Went to Fort Sancudo, rained some rockets down on the military, and I swear to God, the military now spawn a lot quicker than they did on PS3 and 360. And so they shot me down, and I was killed outside the mansion where the final mission takes place, which looks a lot like Notch's mansion, actually, the Minecraft creator. But anyway, so I did a whole bunch of stuff, really. I mean, then after I died outside the hospital, I just got out a load of melee weapons and in first person started just killing people to see what that would look like.
See, that's quite a horrifying experience the first time you do that. I know the first time we did it was a bit like, ooh, that's quite violent.
Yeah, it is a bit, because it's like when you stab someone, it properly goes into their side and you properly see their reaction. I was like, oh, Jesus, that's terrible. Having said that, I did it about 20 times in 2 minutes after that. So, I was desensitized very quickly. But just kind of basically titting about. I tried to steal a helicopter from the end of the pier on the other side of the map. The place I mean, near the beach.
With the helicopter port that's down there.
Yeah, ran up to that and it was stolen. It flew away before I could even get in it, which was good. So I punched someone in first person to take out my aggression. And then I basically got in a chopper from there and just tried to just kind of coast it around a little bit. It was just taking in the landmass, really, and enjoying the different weather and day-night effects. Cool. Like, properly, just incredible, just actually incredible. Like, it's peak GTA.
Now, sort of content-wise and mission-wise, this is sort of fundamentally the same experience as what we've seen. Like, are you aware of anything above and beyond?
In terms of the actual story of the game and the content, not really. But like the video editor is something they've brought to this for the. It was in GTA 4, but it's a much more refined version of that now, where you can cut together clips from in-game really easily, and kind of customize angles and drop in audio tracks, things like that. They've built this kind of proper movie maker into GTA 5 now as well, which I think is a genuinely valuable addition and a good reason to get the PC version if you've already got it on PS4 and Xbox One.
And is that something you can flick between like the game and the stuff, or does it save the clips out somewhere and then you go back into it?
You can record at any time, but I think you need to go out of the game to. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty certain you need to go out of the game because it's an option in the menu.
Right.
But you can record at any time. So when you hit a think it's down for character select. You can just hit A on a controller to start recording at any time. So it's super convenient. Like it's yeah, I think it's gonna get a really good reception and generate quite a big community around it.
What happens if something amazing occurs, but you hadn't been set to record? Does it cache the last few seconds of gameplay? Do you know?
No, I don't think so. I think you just decide when it records, but you can just keep it recording all the time if you want. So if you know, in GTA you've at least got some sense of when something remarkable is going to happen. So I think that's all right. But yeah, as far as I understand it, it doesn't do that. But yeah.
So you were playing on PC.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned things doing it with the controller and stuff. Did you play it with a controller or with mouse and keyboard, and how do they differ?
I tried both actually. So I primarily played it with the Xbox One controller, which they had there, but it's compatible with 360 and PS4 as well. And so basically, I tried the mouse and keyboard controls on the opening mission actually, because that was a really good. That gives you a kind of good tutorial of how mouse and keyboard controls work, and they feel great. And if when you're playing it in first person in 4K 60 frames per second with a mouse and keyboard, it actually feels like a different game entirely, just because of the precision you're able to get from like pulling off headshots and stuff. Yeah, like it seems like they've put a lot of time and effort into getting those mouse and keyboard controls just right.
I guess that's going to be something going into online as well that makes it much easier to play, like getting headshots and stuff with the mouse and keyboard.
I think so, yeah. I do wonder if driving is as easy to do as like aiming and shooting. So it might be that it balances out, but yeah, it's certainly a really nice alternative to using the controller.
Now having it on PC obviously opens it up to mods and all of that kind of thing. And at some point, I guess Oculus Rift. How long do you think it's going to be until somebody gets it working in some kind of form on an Oculus?
Oh, I don't know. What time is it now? I think that will happen really quickly. I mean, the mod community around GTA 4 was just remarkable, and I think Rockstar knows that on some level that's and they consider that incredibly valuable. So yeah, I think it's a dead cert. It's just a matter of time for sure.
I'm sort of scared to think that how astonishingly good some of the GTA 4 ice mods looked. By whatever version they got to, like almost like reality, and like to start from a base as strong as GTA 5 on PC, like are we going to see almost, you know, even if they even exist, like PS5 quality visuals? I guess that's just PC gaming full stop. But
I think so. But I think it does look like it's running on a hypothetical PS5 right now at 4K, because you know, if we think the next generation of consoles is going to want to do 4K on some level, that's the next step, then it's right here. You know, you can have that experience now if you've got the money to make it happen. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting entry point for a lot of people like me who may not be PC gamers currently, but love GTA 5. Like, if I wanted to get involved through GTA right now, like, what could you direct me to anywhere so I can, you know, get involved with my first PC? Yeah,
I mean, you know, at PCGamer.com, we've actually just done something called Build Week, where we went through a bunch of different rigs for different price ranges. So we've done something called a recommended rig, which gives you kind of like a kind of medium price range where you get really high performance, 1080p, 60 frames per second, no matter what, without massively breaking the bank. And so that's on PCGamer.com.
What kind of price would I be looking at for entry with that?
Well, high hundreds to low thousands, I think. But I think it'd be well worth it.
I guess something we forget about PC gaming and GTA is that people, I guess, like you've done as well, have sort of skipped the next generation console version to wait for the jump from 360 to PC. So there'll be a lot of these things that we're quite used to now that no one would have seen, like all the smoke effects and the smog and things. And that's probably something that's really going to impress people.
Yeah, I think so. Like if you've been waiting all that time, and just think on PC as well, there'll be some people who have never played GTA because they don't have consoles and they've just been waiting all that time. So the first time they see it, it's just going to be, you know, there's not really going to be many hints that it came out on the last gen on 10-year-old hardware. You know, it's going to be a proper mind-blowing experience, and it definitely was for me, having about 60, 70 hours of experience with the PS3 and 360 version, just going into that. And I've seen people playing the PS4 version a lot in the office, but it's just that jump in frame rate, man. Like, I hate to be one of those people who's like 1080p 60 frames per second, but like with something like this where I consider playing this game to be such a valuable experience, like to see it running like that is just like, I need that in my life.
I've got two last questions. One is just to go back to the video editor. Did you get to see any examples that Rockstar had created?
They did. I don't think they want me to go like too specifically in depth with what they showed me, but they obviously, if you think about all the things you can do in the next-gen console versions, like play as animals and stuff like that, then you can basically, if you were playing as, I don't know, like a shark or something, then you recorded footage while you're playing as that, and then you can make it look like a nature documentary, because you can customize the filters entirely, you can change the angles, and obviously drop the music in there wherever you like. It's kind of like having iMovie built into GTA 5. Yeah, and if you want to make something that looks more like an extreme sports, documentary and stuff like that, you can record from GTA Online as well. So you can do it with your character, which I think is incredibly valuable. Yeah, I think that, yeah, you can. It's so versatile. Like, it really felt like way beyond, say, the Last of Us photo editor in terms of the, how many options are available to you. I thought that the camera angles would just be, I can turn it left, right, or whatever. But no, you can properly pull out and get the cinematic angle you want and cut it together however you want. It's really amazing.
And my final question really is GTA Online. What have Rockstar said about that on PC, and were you able to sample any of it?
No, they weren't showing that. I guess because these servers aren't on yet, or because there weren't enough people playing it, or whatever the reason was. But they've got 30 players online, and then 2 players who can be in spectator mode as well, which is in line with the next gen console versions. Is that right? Yeah,
it is now. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's as impressive as it would be anywhere else. But I would hope that it being on PC would allow there to be a bit more kind of population density around the city and things like that. Because those are all things that in the single player, in the graphics option, you can change those on sliders. So you can make the city as, more or less dense depending on your hardware setup. So I kind of hope that being online on PC, you would get a slightly better feel of the city while you're playing. I think that'd be really, really good.
I mean, this is quite an exciting and vindicational moment. Once again, having been talked about the PC version like over a year and a half ago, we had the big leaked developer document which had various references to a PC version, which might have just been the dev version, but wasn't. So I guess after all this time of waiting in anticipation, for you, Sam, is this are you pleased with what we've got on PC?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really hard to see any way it will mess it up. Like Rockstar talked about scalability so much. So if you've got a pretty rubbish PC, then you can still play this and have a really good experience. Like, it's really rare to hear developers talking or publishers talking about that stuff, and also for them to show you all the graphics options they've got in this much detail before release. That almost never happens with big publishers. So I think it's going to be fantastic. No matter what your hardware setup is, they're targeting 1080p, 60 frames per second, and it will help you get there. It detects your hardware setup and will kind of profile the game based on that. So I think it's going to be unbelievable, Dan. And they've been building the PC version from the start as well. It's not like they've just taken...
Are you excited by that, Dan?
Well,
on PCGamer.com, we have an interview with someone from RockStar North actually detailing the PC port, and they said that from the very start they've been planning this version of it. So it's not an afterthought. It's not just a...
Well, there you are.
Yeah, they used the
just raising an eyebrow here.
They just used the PS4 version and the Xbox One version as a base to build the PC version, but now they've just taken it so far, and I think it's going to be the definitive version of the game.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for joining us, Sam. Hopefully we'll get you on again soon now the PC community's got hold of GTA 5. And Dan, maybe next week we'll see you again, or maybe when the single-player DLC comes around.
Single-player DLC, GTA 6, mate.
All right, we'll
see
pop
you
on
then.
for that. All right, thanks, guys. So that's it. GTA 5 on PC will be out April 14th, so not long to wait now. I hope you enjoyed the show, and remember to join us next week at the normal time, Wednesdays at 5 PM BST, for more GTA 5 o'clock.